Welcome to our Wellness Hub, where you will find experts in the field of health, wellness, healing, and mindset. My name is Moni C. I'm a creative mindset coach and your host. Today, we have an incredible guest. Her name is Dr. Debi Silber. She is the founder of the PBT Institute, Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute. Dr. Debi, thank you so much for joining us here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, and what was the turning point in your life that made you pivot and start what you're doing today. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I'm in business 34 years, health, mindset, personal development. Had a really painful betrayal from my family. Thought I did all I needed to do to heal from that. And then it happened a few years later. This time it was my husband. That was the deal breaker. And got him out of the house and looked at the two experiences, thinking what's similar here besides me, and realized I never really took my own needs seriously. And it was time for a change. I had 4 kids, 6 dogs, a thriving business. And I couldn't find a book, a course, or mentor to help me heal. So this was so big, I needed to study it so big. So I enrolled in a PhD program, not what many would do at 50, coming off of a betrayal. But for me, that's what I just felt so intuitively called to do. And I just really wanted to do that to understand betrayal. Did a study. And while I was there, I studied betrayal. And that study led to 3 groundbreaking discoveries, which changed my family, my work, my health, my life. Those 3 discoveries have now, I'm so grateful to say, have changed the lives of thousands, because what we learned was betrayal is a very different type of experience. When you treat it like other traumas, you don't heal. It doesn't matter if it's been decades, it stays with you. It's very different because it completely shatters the self, where that doesn't happen with other traumas. The second discovery, there's actually this collection of symptoms, physical, mental, and emotional, so common to betrayal. It's now known as post-betrayal syndrome. We've tested over 100,000 people and to see to what extent they're struggling. And the third discovery was that there are 5 proven, predictable stages we go through if we fully heal. Most people, are stuck in stage 3. And we've since become the #1 betrayal recovery certification for coaches, because you could be the best coach ever, but when you don't understand the language of betrayal, and how could you? You haven't been taught this. You are likely sending a client on their way when they say, I'm fine, or you've used your great tools that work on everybody. They do not work on betrayal clients. They need a very different thing. And so what we do is we teach you the language of betrayal. We teach you to spot it. And people assume they could be coming to you for a health issue, for a confidence issue, for a work issue, a life issue. But when there is an unhealed betrayal at the root, it does not matter. They show up differently. They respond differently. And when coaches understand the 5 stages, they move that client through transformation. So the referrals, the testimonials, the results are exponentially different. So all we do is help people, organizations, and coaches help their clients get to their personal professional best.
And you told me you have many degrees. What are the degrees that you have? Because I want to know them all.
Okay. Well, now it's PhD, but I'm a holistic dietitian, master's in nutrition, whole health coach, functional diagnostic nutritionist. I was a certified personal trainer back in the day. I'm certified in human design, in the emotion code. It's a lot, but now we just go under the PhD.
And so you said that there are 5 stages. Can you tell us exactly what those 5 stages are?
Sure. So stage 1 is actually before it happens. What's happening here is we're not scanning for betrayal because we're in what we think is a healthy relationship, whether that's a relationship, a co-working relationship with a boss or a partner or a friend. So we're not scanning for betrayal. And this is why it's such a shock. And, what we do is we're unintentionally or intentionally turn down our intuition. We do that for a few reasons. We're able to get more done when we turn down the intuition, but sometimes we turn it down intentionally. And that's so, if we were to confront what our intuition is telling us, it will likely unravel everything going on. Like, if you confront that boss that they're stealing the company funds, there's your job, right? Or if you confront that partner, it's likely to unravel, everything. And you don't have the physical, the mental, the emotional, the financial bandwidth to take that on. Anyway, that's why it's such a shock to the system. Stage 2, shock. D-Day, Discovery Day. And here's the breakdown of the body, the mind, the worldview. You've ignited the stress response. You're now headed for every single stress related symptom, illness, condition, disease. The bottom has bottomed out on you and a new bottom hasn't been formed yet. It's terrifying. But think about it. If the bottom were to bottom out on you, what would you do? You grab hold of anything or anyone in order to stay safe and stay alive in that stage 3. Survival instincts emerge. This is where most people get stuck because here you're able to go back to work. You're able to take care of your kids, able to do the things, but it's behind the walls. It's from a functioning but flat place. And it takes a lot of courage to risk that level of vulnerability again. And when we're unwilling to do that, we're like behind bars, and a lot of people live this way. And now we're managing and suppressing symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome. We're definitely at risk of future betrayals because nothing has really changed. And we're just coasting. We're just surviving. And most people are there. And now they start numbing, avoiding, distracting because they're not happy. And you do it for a day, a week, a month, now it's a habit, a year, 10 years, 20 years. And it's so interesting because here's where the best coaches have a client who's like, yeah, I think, I'm good now. And you send them off never knowing they were stuck in stage 3. But if they had the language to know, oh, this is what stage 3 looks like and feels like. Now, let me approach that from this place. Now we can, and it's not overstepping into therapy at all, but it's now we can approach it from a language of the Eve. Now that let me tell you about stage 4, this is what it looks like. And let's do this together. And that's the most fun part of coaching anyway, that gets so missed. Anyway, if we're willing to let go of the story, all it gives us, grieve, mourn the loss, and a bunch of things, we move to stage 4, finding and adjusting to a new normal. Here's where, it's like we realize I can't change what happened, but I control what I do with it. Forward moving. What have I outgrown? What am I no longer willing to tolerate? What was I settling for? Very forward moving, very exciting. And then when we kind of move into the next phase of that, we move into stage 5, healing, rebirth, and a new worldview. The body starts to heal. Self-love, self-care, eating well, exercise. We didn't have the bandwidth for that earlier. We see so many new relationships, either with the person who hurt them in a very different way or someone entirely different. New businesses, new levels of health, new passion projects. We don't have access to any of that in stage 3. So imagine in a coaching relationship, this is the fun word. This is why we get into coaching in the first place. Here's where all that really great stuff happens in stage 5.
That's wonderful. And you said that betrayal is a distinct type of
Mhm.
trauma. Why does that distinction matter so much?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, any therapist, counselor, coach will say, "Oh, trauma's trauma." No,
Mhm.
it's not. I've done the research. Because with other traumas, like let's say you lose someone you love, right? There's a shattering of life as you've known it. The invitation is rebuild your life, right? Without that person. With betrayal, not only is there shattering of life as you've known it, there's a shattering of the self, rejection, abandonment, belonging, confidence, worthiness, trust, right? Those are completely destroyed. When you lose someone you love, those aren't destroyed. They're intact. You just miss that person. It's not to minimize any trauma, by the way. The other thing too is think about it with other traumas, people rally. They're bringing you the casseroles. Hey, how can I help? With betrayal, there's so much shame, humiliation, embarrassment. So very often the person who's been betrayed struggles and suffers in silence. Here's one of the most painful of the human experiences, and they're acting like it's a regular Tuesday. You see? And then to make matters worse, let's say it's a relational betrayal. Very often the betrayed is covering for the betrayer. So look at what they're trying to manage as they're trying to just live their lives as if everything is okay. It's not that the case with
Mm.
any other traumas.
Now, so one of the hardest things I see is actually awareness. Like
Mhm,
people are not even aware that they have this trauma, that they have this post betrayal syndrome inside of
mhm.
them, maybe for years. So how do you tell someone actually had this? I mean,
I'll
without.
give you an example. We had a woman, and this is back when we had people in our program. She was in her mid 80s and she had a 70-plus year digestive issue. 45% of everybody betrayed has a gut issue of some kind: Crohn's, IBS, diverticulitis, reflux, you name it. 70-plus year digestive issue from a family betrayal. She was adopted. They didn't tell her it was like something like that. For 70-plus years, you can imagine the protocols, the medicines, the supplements, the everything, just for her to resign herself to believing I just have a bad stomach. It's who I am. 2 weeks with us in healing the betrayal. She healed from a 70-plus year digestive issue. That's what happens when you deal with the root cause.
That's incredible. And now, so what's the difference between, someone who heals from betrayal from someone who stays stuck in it?
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between being healed and being hardened. And I wrote a whole book on just that. And, the difference is someone deeply stuck in stage 3, where they create a stage 3 life. They're living with symptoms of managing and suppressing symptoms of post-betrayal syndrome. Things are fine. And that's as good as it gets. You didn't go through all you went through just to be fine. It's like the equivalent of saying, I'm fine as long as I don't talk about that person. I'm okay as long as I don't see them. I'm okay as long as you don't ask me to trust again. That's living half a life. So that's what most people do. They're living a stage 3 life because they don't know there's a stage 4 or stage 5. So,
Mm.
it's my greatest mission, passion, and purpose to get these 5 stages into as many hands as possible because healing's predictable. It's not for some. It's for anybody willing to move through the 5 stages of betrayal recovery.
It's for everybody. Now, how many books did you write?
I
How
wrote
many books?
9.
And what's the last one? What's the last one? And what is the title of the last one? And what is the
Yeah.
last one about?
Right, so I wrote 9 books, and, you can see them behind me. The Unstuck is my most recent book. I wrote that for practitioners because, like I said, I heard from and I certify a lot of coaches, a lot of therapists, a lot of counselors, and they never heard of this, and they realize how many clients they're sending off before they're fully healed, before they're transformed, and what a wasted opportunity for the client, what a wasted opportunity for the coach, therapist, counselor, what a denial of the reason why they love the work that they're doing in the first place. So Unstuck is so that they understand betrayal more and they see, oh my gosh, I was never taught this. I get it. And it's a huge miss opportunity. But we're really just we want to certify and as many coaches, counselors, therapists, because they're so good at what they do, but betrayal requires an additional skill they were never taught.
Mm. That's absolutely fascinating, Dr. Debbie. And do you have one tip for specifically people who are
Mhm.
living their lives and they're okay, as you said, but to make them, see the light?
Yeah, that when they're just okay, they're in stage 3. I would let them know that if you knew what stage 4 and 5 felt like, you wouldn't spend a minute in stage 3. You just wouldn't. And I would also say this because this is one of the most common things that happens with betrayal. You think it's about you. Even though it happened to you, it's not about you. And if you have to repeat that a million times, it's worth it. All you need to do is move through the 5 stages of betrayal recovery and you'll see.
So buy the book, guys. It's gonna be the link is gonna be and contact. And for all the practitioners and coaches, you gotta get certified. It's yes, you will have all this information under our interview. Now, one last thing.
Mhm.
So betrayal, we're not just talking about husband and wives and
Mm-mm.
the
No.
husband cheat. It's just there's all different kinds of betrayals in family. Okay, so that's what I wanted to know. Yes.
Yeah, and the nature of betrayal is it's such a shock to the body, to the mind, to the heart. I haven't done this in years, but I started single sessions just because people are like, I spent, 20 years in therapy, whatever. They're doing more in one session with me than 20 years of therapy. So if I can help you personally, from the person who did the research, here to help.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Debbie. What an incredible conversation. Time just flew. Thank you so much for all your insights, your energy, your story. You're really, truly changing people's lives. And I would love to have you back. But for now, I'm going to have to say goodbye. And the audience is going to have all your information underneath and make sure you buy that book. Okay. So you can
Thanks
be
so
in
much.
stage 4, 5, in life and live the best life ever. Thank you, Dr. Debbie.
Thank you.
Until next time.